exodus from thine old life. Make sacrifice of who thou used to be. Forsake thy memories, forsake thine identity, to be born anew.
esoteric. Join the greypilled Patreon. It's the only way to pay for this song.
What is going on, everybody? Good evening. Turn that down. And welcome back to Greypilled Podcast. I am your host, Jules, the handsome Hierophant, the Mississippi Mystic, the so many names. I can't believe I forget. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Occult Cinema. Episode 5 of Occult Cinema. A banger. We got a banger for y'all, but before we get started, go ahead and be sure to share the stream, get it out there. It will be going private after the show. This is a Patreon show. There's 4 other episodes of Occult Cinema. It has 4. It's not that much, but it's better than nothing. Better than most people. Patreon show who I heard don't even put stuff on Patreon. What is up with you guys? Tonight, I am joined by 2 friends of mine. I have Headless Giant in the fucking house. The Hellenic shit poster. You got to change that from schizo poster to shit poster. And Zerilath Eternal, the bare-chested, runic
Preston works too, I think.
Yeah, no, that's what I first thought of. Headless. I had another name. Oh yeah, the feral pagan himself, guys. You know him. You love him. You remember him. If y'all don't remember, me and Headless and I had a show called Rustic Gods. We did about 14 episodes. They were bangers. Go check those out on YouTube and wherever else you can find them, Rumble. And Headless, what's going on, man? It's good to see you, dude. It's good to see you.
How's it going?
It's been too long, man.
Yeah, it has been a while. I've just been doing a lot of CQ radio, trying to get the white Christians up to speed on what they're actually engaging in. Hopefully we can get into that a little bit on this very program, because it's not just a movie. This is a psyop. So we're going to get into that as it goes through. But there's something I'd like to talk about as we set the stage. Definitely. And if you could bring that up, the PDF right here. So
you kind of tell people what you've been doing lately, and where they can find you, where they can support you if they want to, because you're still a content creator, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't have any place where you can throw me any money, but maybe that'll change soon. We can make that happen. Yeah. But this PDF right here is from 1999. It was written by a guy named Manfred Gerstenfeld, right? And so he was seeing a change in sort of the American landscape around 1999, and he wanted to raise awareness in the Knesset, of all places. This is the Jewish Congress, and what he was doing, he was saying, "Hey, guess what, guys? Paganism and this reverence for nature is on the rise, right? So you can find this. It's called neo-paganism in the public square, and its relevance to Judaism, right? And I think you can get a real good feel for the rest of this from the second paragraph. It says, "The ancient revulsion with regard to paganism felt by the adherents of Judaism links up with the need to take stock of these contemporary phenomena. The return of paganism forces Judaism to focus on Jewish law and tradition, which proclaim that God is central in the world." Here's the line: "Nature is not sacred, and its laws represent barbarity." Right. So this film is about a ancient pagan rite, and what they're doing in this film is they're taking the entire ritual of Bugonia, as seen in the original context, and flipping it on its head. It's a Abrahamic inversion. Yeah. Noahide laws represent civil society, right? So there's a lot packed in those Noahide laws that are
something that they've actually been talking about a lot lately. A lot of theologians and Christian apologetic, folks like that and stuff. They've been talking a lot about how the Noahide laws aren't so bad. It's like,
Right.
fucking kidding
Acts
me?
15. Acts 15. So Acts 15 goes over 4 of the 7 Noahide laws and says that actually you don't have to engage in a lot of the 613 mitzvahs. You're only under those 7 Noahide laws. But what do those 7 Noahide laws represent? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to say you have to worship this Jewish God as your central focus, or else
You'll
you
be
get your
beheaded.
head chopped off. Right.
Yeah, man.
So anytime they're threatening you with Noahide laws, what they're actually doing is they're threatening you with death. So you've got Noahide laws waiting to be passed. You've got Noahide laws waiting to be passed inside of the United States Congress, right? You've got Noahide laws on the books at the UN. They're passing them through the UN. So they're just going for it. And a lot of people don't understand that those Noahide laws that represent civil society means the Jews get to chop your head off when they pass them. So Jewish observers watch attentively which direction the powerful renewed interest in nature will take and what consequences this may have for world Jewry. Right. So if you've been interested in world Jewry lately, as what's going on with the wars going on around the Middle East right now, things are ramping up. They've started bombing Iran again today, right, for this very kind of concept. And you can basically see the whole sort of Jewish or Abrahamic inversion of nature worship laid out perfectly in this PDF, which is the agenda that they've been going forward with.
Which they say in this, that nature is basically abhorrent.
Barbarity.
It's understood with Iran right now that like the high hope that like, I'm paying attention to the Iranians that are doing their thing on YouTube to inform the Westerners from their perspective as people that the main reason why they are pro-Israel or Zionist is because they share in their hatred of the 12er Islamists that they call the Durkas, right? Like South Park Durka talkers, right? Yeah. So they want Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi to come back as an interim president and to establish the Cyrus Accords. Now, as things stand, the United States wants to reaffirm the Abraham Accords. And I didn't know we were going to talk about this tonight, but I think looking at it, that the Cyrus Accords might be much better for preventing this Noahide issue, as it's more fair instead of putting Israel in a supremacy position, it would seem.
That goes back to Persia. Now, Cyrus of Persia was considered to be the first Moshiach.
Really?
Did you know that? Yeah, in the Bible. Sure. So what they're doing is they're replacing one patriarch or another patriarch, and they're saying we're going into that.
Here's my point, right?
Right?
There's a bunch of people. They need, like, they're going to be locked in the script, right? They're going to be locked in the script, right? It's the reason why people are going to go down certain roads that they're going to go down. Like, when everybody a few years ago changed the heart of things and went from just being kind of like a Christian conservative American to like, I'm an ortho bro, right? and then like, can I remind people of Owen Benjamin and the Jorts Wars, right? I was on with him like on 2 streams just before he had made a decision that he didn't want to have nothing to do with pagans, right? And this was so long ago, I hadn't even lost the weight yet. I was still a fat guy showing up on his streams. That's how long ago this was. Right. And then the Jort Wars happened out of nowhere. And I saw that and I said, well, fuck that shit. And I'm on Owen's side in this fight. Right. Because Owen was a little bit more comfortable with pagans. Right. Like
Owen,
one of his friends is still, I think to this day, Great Odin's Raven. It's like one of his most well-known pagan friends.
Owen Benjamin.
Owen Benjamin. Oh,
yeah, Owen Benjamin. Big Bear.
Sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
We have some dislike of bears. Some people
dislike of bears.
Zerilath knows. But no, man, we have about 15, 20 minutes just to we're on YouTube, guys. We have to cut the YouTube off in about, I'd say, 15, 20 minutes. We're going to get the movie started. We're watching Bugonia, if you haven't figured that out. Episode 3 of Rustic Gods was actually on Aristeas, who, he conducted the Bugonia ritual, right? And so, yeah. No, I
so Aristeas, is this a Greek? Is that a Greek pagan who was doing a pagan ritual called the Bugonia?
Yes, that goes back to the
kind of.
All right. But all right, you're gonna have to de-occult the ritual through the movie for me. I don't know this. This will be exciting.
He explained it very well on the Rustic, with the bees and the honey and sacrificing, nature.
Okay. This is like this is one of those.
In this case, it's humans for nature. Right.
This is one of those queen bee things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And we've recently had the Trump and the royal family bee thing going on this year too. So the year that this movie is doing its thing is also the same year that there's this thing happening in the House of Windsor with the bees without the Queen Mum. Queen Mum's not in the picture anymore, unless, of course, we want to talk about King Charles's wife.
Who's that?
And
who are you talking about? Camilla?
Camilla, like, sure, her name is so damn close to like Dracula. Like, knowing Dracula, I don't hold, like, actually that's a benefit to King Charles, but unfortunately it's his Baal Lilith cultist bloodline side that I tell me that he has to go, regardless how much I like his Dracula blood. But Carmilla is like the first vampire. She's more evil. She's the most evil and like the real kind of thing that is to be worried about. Dracula is just terrifying because he's a dragon warrior.
Well, we know that they are from the I guess the Windsor family is from the what's that? The Saxe-Coburg, which goes back to Vlad the Impaler, right? And then
right. That's the idea. As well as all those German roots associated, right? Just like and
that's all Queen Victoria.
There's circumstances to the House of Windsor, though, that makes them outsider Germans instead of normal kind of insider Germans. And I can't get into that right now because I didn't know we'd be talking about that.
No,
but that comes into the issue that the House of Windsor is perhaps an inferior bloodline that hijacked the throne. And it might be a moot point at this point because I think England's probably done with monarchy.
Cooked. They're cooked.
Totally cooked, dude. Yeah, no, I mean they're going to be. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to speak ill of England for what's happening right now, but good Lord, man.
Like, it was one thing when the House of Windsor was responsible for defending Christians. Now he's defending Muslims, Christians, and Jews according to how they're going to interpret it.
Right. Well, I was going to say, so do the Muslims have to go under the same 7 Noahide laws as the Christians do?
Yep.
What about the Satanists? Do they have to do it as well?
Yep.
You get it?
Isaiah 45:7.
Isaiah
Isaiah 45:7. It's all
in the Abrahamic paradigm, guys. Sorry, but it has nothing to do with European folk religions.
At the end of the day, I just think that the Odinist is going to be the Muslim Antichrist. Of all fucking features that the Muslim Antichrist, the Dajjal, I think he's called.
Start calling them Musulman again, dude.
It's the same formula.
He's got to have one eye. He's got to have a missing eye.
Well,
and this guy would be the quote Dajjal or whatever, right? Like,
well, again, like what a lot of people don't understand about the writing of the Bible and the writing of the Quran and the writing of all these things is that they were not fishermen. They were not carpenters. They were high-level scribes that had spent their entire lives studying these holy documents at places like Alexandria in the case of the Old Testament and in the New Testament. And for the Muslims, I mean, they openly admit that they had a lot of help from Jewish authors writing the Quran. So what we're seeing now is the collapsing of these other two faiths into Noahidism, and that means a necessary collapse of all the identity groups, unless you keep your native identity, which most people have no conception of whatsoever. So this is all about identity. If you know anything about performing ritual magic, it's about identity. If you can change the way you see yourself, you can change the world around you. And if you can, put that out to a wider, perspective, you can kind of understand how these ancient magicians who wrote this stuff would be wanting to go after people's identity, national identity, personal identity. And you have all of these, rabbis saying today, Christianity is finished and we're going to replace it with Noahidism.
Yeah.
Islam is finished. It's going to be replaced with Noahidism. All of these major religions are going to get collapsed and they're going to go over to Noahidism. I don't know if that's going to be successful or not. The only way that, Christianity stands a chance is if paganism rises up as sort of the counterweight to Christianity. If not, they're just going to go into Noahidism. Otherwise, they're not going to even keep their Christian identity.
Yeah. You see, like having a good sense of Christian diversified kind of thought in America. I think that, there's a lot of people that are just very secular, that are Christian and like they're not really pagan, but when it comes to the quote moral conversation, right? It's like, like the pagan isn't doing anything like wrong. The worst thing we might be doing is animal sacrifice, but guess what? You just, had a cheeseburger or something like that, unless we're fucking arguing with vegans and that, like they get to fucking be a pain in the ass because they didn't eat an animal in the last fucking night.
That's what people, and we'll move kind of move on from here. But like people don't understand that about the Molk sacrifices. They were only found in this certain part of the world where the Jews were, these altars with these certain, these fucking mosquitoes. I'm in my garage for people who don't know. This bowl that they would heat up and then place the infant or the sacrifice inside the bowl. This was found, in mainly like Hebrew is, like Jewish areas. Right. And and they were Molk, and because Moloch is not a deity. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm beating a horse. I'm beating him to death. I'm burning him on the pyre. Dude. Moloch is not a deity. You can't find him in any Ugaritic text, any Sumerian text. He's not Marduk. People stop trying to do that. I've seen you on TikTok. You suck. Molk is a sacrifice and a burnt offering, which is talked about all throughout the Bible, done unto Yahweh. Probably way more so than Baal. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, like, right, sure. And I would also just mention, like, like the way the Spartans, there's plenty of eugenics with Spartans. Just like they would leave their kid out to die in the hot fucking sun. Like they wouldn't even.
Oh, yeah. People had their traditions everywhere that were probably not what we would think would, what we would want for our children. But there's a certain people who really, I mean, come on, man. Right. You go sacrifice your kids where you burn your fucking trash.
Right.
So, Valley of Hinnom.
To do the practice that specifically, right? Or to do the whole dashing on rocks thing, or it's just a crazy way to fucking like kill a kid because they're not going to be up to Spartan standards, right? I mean, I get it. You gotta keep the ranks a certain way because you're on an island and all that shit,
Well, the Romans and the Greeks, they actually banned the practice of child exposure before the implementation of Christianity. So it was kind of a dead issue, but they never condoned it. It was never, so this is like criminals doing this to their kids because they didn't, they were acting like criminals.
Right.
So This is a book from 2007 called Passover of Blood, The Jews of Europe and Ritual Murders, originally published as Italian, is a controversial 2007 book written by Ariel Toaf, the Italian-Israeli professor of medieval Renaissance history at Bar Ilan University. The book caused an international uproar because it validated the aspects of blood libel, a century-old anti-Semitic. Look at all these buzzwords they had to throw in there.
Shit.
Claiming that Jews murdered Christian children to use their blood in Passover rituals. They did this. So Simon of Trent, they focus on this. But again, they actually went after, he claimed these Ashkenazi extremists may have engaged in the magical therapeutic use of dried human blood, occasionally adding it to the Passover matzah dough. He claimed that the confessions extracted during the trials may contain elements of genuine historical practices rather than being completely fabricated. So he had to remove this book because the ADL came after him. This was a Jewish author.
Dude. I mean,
you can't Jewish author.
You can't talk, because it's like, if they'll sacrifice their own children, what would they do to your children? But fucking Laz said right here, and this is the only argument that I can kind of, I'll have to ponder on, but Moloch became a deity. People worship it now. Yes, I'm very big into egregores and tulpomancy and stuff like that. So I absolutely, I believe the same for Baphomet. And that's why when people have these weird demonic cryptid encounters, it's because we create them ourselves, guys. And I went on Shane Cashman's show almost 2 years ago now, maybe close to that.
I think some of them.
I was going to say, I think the devil is an egregore, like the red devil with the tail. And, there may be some people. I think Napoleon had an experience in the pyramid with a red being, this kind of red entity that he had a supernatural experience with.
I think there's there's kind of three orders of things. I think there's the egregores. I think that there's the spirits that have kind of always been around, and then you have what comes with the portals opened when they kind of have, when their religious order is able to establish itself on the land, and they're openly functional in being capable of doing ritual and becoming the new tonal landscape of effectively the world, right? Yeah. Getting into like how the Dasein of the land and the people who live in it has that changeover, right? We experienced this when people's values shifted in the pandemic, and certain freedoms and liberties and things were sacrificed at a certain kind of altar to be forced to live this particular way for a great tribulation 2.5 year style period, as they ran that fucking script. Talk about running on your nerves when you're someone like me. And then afterwards, we once that lifted, we were living in this weird nexus that couldn't be like how it was. And it was confused about whether it still was the new way that it was fighting so hard for. And now we're in this strange period where we're forcing our way through on the direction that may have been lost when the events of 6 years ago changed the leadership in this country and the fundamental policies of our time moving forward. Right.
Well, on that note, I mean, you got to look at the mass migration policies as they came about really strongly after the COVID vaccine was introduced. Right. So you got to have a mass die off and then a mass replacement. Well, I don't think the COVID vaccine went off the way that they expected it to. There were a lot of places hit very hard by it, but mostly people tried to keep away from it. So what we're seeing now is sort of like what happens when a plan falls apart. And so they're having that sort of resurgence of identity, which they're not really capable of putting back into a neat little box.
Yeah.
And
It's obvious to me that they have several plans that have fallen apart because
That's out the bag.
Because
That's out the bag.
The idea that most of the reality we've been experiencing recently was effectively a Truman Show for Charlie Kirk. And then when Charlie Kirk was offered on the altar of sacrifice, the gloves came off because the people condoned.
You said it.
The people condoned it. And that told the elites how the ritual was going down. And they made decisions, right? I said this in a video I was doing just recently. I said, they killed Charlie Kirk, and the elite said, all right, for you, we will be a lot more like literally Hitler for you now, right? So Trump's not being fascist in my fucking world. He's being fascist in the world, but as far as the evils of this is an anarchist talking, because all you guys who love government, well, here's what you get for loving government. So Trump is giving you all the love of government you ever asked for in accordance to your actions and your inability to understand reality and why certain laws are just not going anywhere, especially the way you handle them. And so he's being fascist to all sorts of other people. And I'm just like, dude, just chill out with your behavior, because I'm pretty sure this fascism is about behavior, which is just how you enforce the law. So stop being assholes. And fine, you hated Charlie Kirk. I wasn't a big fan of him either, but what the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, okay, guys, we have to cut to YouTube.
All right, let's figure out how this all ties into Bugonia.
Or we'll sit here and fucking talk for hours, and it'll be midnight. We'll be like, we'll have to reschedule. Anyway, everyone from YouTube, go over to Twitter, go over to Rumble, and we'll see you over there. You can also go to Patreon if you want to support the show, because if you don't watch it all tonight, you'll have to tune in tomorrow. We will probably be cutting Twitter at some point. So,
hey, real quick, I got to hit remove on the drop tab. That doesn't drop me from the show. That just takes me off the live stream, right?
Yeah.
Remove. There we go.
All the people on YouTube, we'll see you Saturday morning for Gods of the Morningwood. Peace. Have a good rest of your week.